Democratic Senator Mark Kelly is hitting back after the Pentagon made the highly unusual announcement that it is launching an investigation into him, even threatening to recall the retired Navy captain to active duty to court-martial him. At the center of this is the video that Kelly and 5 other Democrats made calling on U.S. troops to defy illegal orders. The president called that, quote, seditious behavior punishable by death. Kelly and the other Democrats say they were just reminding service members of their oath to the Constitution. Let's get to CNN's N18G live at the White House this morning. To say this is unusual is an incredible understatement, Elena. And now Senator Kelly is really hitting back.
Yeah, and it's not just unusual, it's unprecedented, John, what we're seeing, this Pentagon investigation into Kelly, a retired Navy veteran, retired astronaut, and it's because what the Pentagon is calling, quote, serious allegations of misconduct. Now, part of the reason that Kelly is the one being targeted, he's one of 6 House Democrats, or excuse me, 6 Democratic lawmakers who were part of that video, and they were all either former members of the military or former members of the U.S. intelligence community. But the reason Kelly is being targeted here is because he's one of the people that can actually be recalled to service to face, as you mentioned, a potential court-martial or administrative punishment. That's something that Hegseth actually pointed out in a post yesterday, breaking some of this down, saying that that essentially Kelly is one of the people that they could recall to face accountability for that video. Now, as you mentioned, Kelly is pushing back. He's been very defensive in some of the remarks we've heard from him responding to this. I want you to take a listen to what we heard from him on MS Now yesterday.
We know what political violence is, and we know what causes it, too. You know, the statements that Donald Trump made is insightful, incites others. He's got millions of supporters. People listen to what he says more so than anybody else in the country. And he should be careful with his words. But I'm not going to be silenced here. Is it stressful? I've been stressed by, you know, things more important than Donald Trump trying to intimidate me into shutting my mouth and not doing my job.
So very defiant Mark Kelly there, John. And look, I mean, we've heard now from a number of lawmakers, well, responding to a lot of this, including many Republicans and some who have argued, people like, and also veteran, but Republican lawmaker Don Bacon, who's argued essentially that they believed, yeah, that video that they put out, these 6 different Democratic lawmakers, maybe that was ill-advised. But the response from the Trump administration has been so strong, particularly that post from the president arguing that they engaged in seditious behavior punishable by death. That's where they started to lose some of the moral high ground on this. So continue to watch for this. We'll have to see what potential accountability that Kelly could face as part of this investigation. But again, it's unprecedented and one that a lot of people, I think, in Washington are a bit uncomfortable with.
No, the Secretary of Defense, even this morning, is going after Senator Kelly on Twitter anew. N18G at the White House this morning. Thank you very much.
More lawmakers are responding to the Pentagon's announcement that it's investigating Senator Mark Kelly, a retired U.S. Navy captain, in light of, quote, serious allegations of misconduct, end quote. This after Kelly joined 5 other Democratic members of Congress in a video urging troops to disobey illegal orders. And that video prompted President Trump to label their actions, quote, seditious behavior punishable by death, end quote. And now the U.S. Defense Department says it could recall Kelly to active duty to face a court-martial or administrative punishment.
I've had a missile blow up next to my airplane. I've been shot down, nearly shot down multiple times. My wife, Gabby Giffords, meeting with her constituents, shot in the head. 6 people killed around her. We know what political violence is, and we know what causes it, too. You know, the statements that Donald Trump made is insightful, incites others. He's got millions of supporters. People listen to what he says more so than anybody else in the country. And he should be careful with his words. But I'm not going to be silenced here.
An official familiar with the matter tells me this morning that the Pentagon is looking at reducing Kelly's rank and pension pay, and that's what was meant by administrative punishment. So I want to bring in CNN senior national security reporter Zachary Cohen. Zachary, what more are you learning from your sources about this probe?
Yep, I'm also hearing that Hegseth and the Pentagon is going to get a variety of options, ways to effectively punish Senator Kelly for participating in this video, where lawmakers did encourage troops to remember that they can refuse and have an obligation to refuse illegal orders. Now, obviously, Senator Kelly is not the only lawmaker to appear in that video, but he is the only one who can technically be recalled into active duty. And that's what Hegseth and his team are looking at, using the military justice system potentially to respond to this video. And also, you know, as far as administrative punishments go, you're right. I'm also hearing that they could try to knock him down in rank. They could try to lower his pension. But if he's court-martialed, I'm also told that he'll be treated like any other defendant in that case. So really, it does seem they're trying to make an example out of Senator Kelly. Now, as you showed previously, he is being defiant. He is saying that this is about politics and that he's being targeted for political purposes by the administration. He responded to the announcement from Secretary Hegseth and the Pentagon by saying, if this is meant to intimidate me and other members of Congress from doing our jobs, it won't work. He goes on to say that he has given too much to this country to be bullied by people who value their power more than the Constitution.
And just to be clear, it's unusual for a veteran to be brought back to active duty, to be court-martialed for something that didn't happen while they were in service, right?
Absolutely. It's very unusual.
Yeah. All right, Zachary, thanks so much.
Pretty extraordinary developments indeed. I want to get some more analysis right now. I want to bring in former Deputy Pentagon Press Secretary under President Biden, Sabrina Singh. She's also a CNN Global Affairs commentator. I'm curious, Sabrina, what went through your mind when you first saw the news from the Defense Department that it may recall Senator Kelly to active duty to face a court-martial or what they call administrative punishment?
Well, you know, it's not a surprise that Donald Trump is using different levers of the government to go after his so-called perceived political enemies. You know, we've seen that with the Department of Justice and now with DOD using the Uniform Code of Military Justice to justify these actions. So while it wasn't a surprise, I think if Hegseth does follow through with this threat, it would be unprecedented. I mean, we have nearly 2 million veterans in this country, and they have to be fearing for potential retribution of, you know, speaking out against this administration. What does that mean for them as well? So it would be unprecedented for the military to do this, and it would certainly send a ripple effect, not just with veterans, but I think throughout the military community.
And as I just reported, an official told me that they're looking at reducing his rank and pension payment if he's not court-martialed. It was interesting because Pete Hegseth, the DOD secretary, or Secretary of War, should we say, on X, called him commander and not captain.
Yeah.
Commander is a rank down.
Right.
But Mark Kelly was a captain in the Navy.
He was a combat pilot. He was an astronaut. He is someone that has served multiple tours of duty overseas. You know, put his line on the line for his country. You saw him talk about how he had something explode by an aircraft that he was flying. This is someone that has decades of service and that has done something to protect Americans overseas. And so, you know, what Hegseth is doing by calling him commander, I mean, of course, that was very intentional by Pete Hegseth to put that out there. But what he's doing is he's saying that what Mark Kelly said in his video, literally citing the Uniform Code of Military Justice, hauling him back in under those same provisions, it's just like a circular logic. It just doesn't make sense. And I don't think a court is going to uphold that. But of course, this is going to have ripple effects, I think, for this country. And that's why you're seeing so many people speak out. Even if you didn't agree with the video that those 6 lawmakers put out, it's still free speech. They still have the right to do that. And so their rights are protected by our Constitution.
Let's take a step back for a moment, Sabrina, while I have you. Explain why and in what circumstances a former service member who's no longer in active duty could be recalled to active duty status to face a court-martial.
Well, that's why this would be something so unprecedented. I mean, he's been a United States Senator for many years now. Actions taken, you know, they're claiming that actions taken by this video would allow him to be recalled back in. But that's only if he committed some type of crime during service. So again, something like this, I think, is what is making the military former veterans very concerned because we have nearly 2 million people in our country that have served. And what does that mean if they speak out against this administration? Are they going to be court-martialed and called back in? It would really be a scary precedent to set if this administration does this.
They're going to lose some of their pay, too,
right,
that they continue
exactly.
receiving, even when they're not in active duty.
Yeah, and on that note about the veterans, another veteran in Congress, Republican Don Bacon of Nebraska, wrote on X, quote, amateur hour once again at the Department of Defense. I thought the video by 6 Dems was unnecessary and foolish, but the threats of sedition charges and court-martial in response are also crazy. Let's show some common sense and restraint.
You know, I think he's right. You might not agree with the video, you might not agree with the timing of the video, but everything that they said in there, it's truthful, and it's protected by their own free speech. I think it is a bit of amateur hour that we're seeing yet again from Pete Hegseth, and I mean, it's notable that Pete Hegseth, the timing of this, when he's doing it, his Army Secretary is overseas negotiating a potential peace deal with Ukraine. Hegseth has been broadly sidelined from those negotiations, so he's playing to an audience of one, Donald Trump, and he knows he has to reassert relevancy, and he's doing it through his actions with Mark Kelly.
It's interesting because the Secretary of the Army is in Abu Dhabi meeting with Russian officials on this potential Ukrainian deal. Let's see what happens on that front, but you make an important point. Sabrina Singh, thank you very, very much.
Been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the they're doing.